Hello, I thought I'd do a brief video of how I solve the issue of transporting goods between my factories and my hub area in the grassy fields here. Uh, just, just as a disclaimer, I am a pragmatic builder. You won't see walls in my stuff, and I don't really go for super pretty stuff. Just functional, organized factories is what I go for. And this is a functional sort of just way to try to organize traffic on my between my factories. So I basically ran a belt highway. It's 2 foundations wide. Uh, the everything in one stack goes one direction. Everything in the other stack will go the other direction. Uh, there's room on the edges to bring stuff into the belts and out of the belts through conveyor belt holes. You just, run your vertical and run a splitter or run a merger. It just works. It's very simple. And that's how I normally try to do stuff. There's some exceptions where this stuff kind of came in from here, and either I hadn't totally worked it out or I didn't want to do it that way. I ran the lifts in front of this belt where only a couple things turn the corner. The others I just ran from below. But I could have done it the same way I did these three here. Not a problem. I could have done it that same way. So yeah, so everything to the left is going away from me, and I'm going up the conveyor belt highway here. This coal, I would have done it using the lift in retrospect. That looks a little ugly. And this is being pulled from this side. So all I have to do is pull it down, come underneath, and I can basically push stuff on the other side. So it's very, very important to have enough elevation that you don't have to cross over the belts unless you like that kind of thing. I really hate that look. Anything going through the belts just looks shoddy to me, so I try to avoid that. This is a patch here. The motors, I probably screwed up somewhere and misunderstood and misdesigned this. So I ended up having to run the motors on a different level. And they were coming in on this level. Rather than rebuilding everything, I just pulled them off this belt, shoved them on that belt. It's ugly, but it's pragmatic. Here, this stuff is kind of coming and joining here. Again, I could have run these underneath. It would have been fine. I just took a simple approach there. And here, stuff is coming from below and merging onto these belts. And turning a corner is very easy. Just put some stackable supports and it's very easy. And it can look pretty nice. I kind of cut the corner here, but you could make them look a lot nicer if you want. Make more gentle bends, whatever. In this case, everything was coming from this direction, and I just created new belt stacks here. And this is where it gets a little unfortunate because the belt stacks are so high, and I'll get to that in a minute. This is where I pull off everything for, my storage containers where I can go access anything I need. And I was happy with this. This worked out really well. Underneath, it's a rat's nest, but I tried to keep it as neat as I could. It worked. And then I built these pillars with electrical pole terminals on them. And that's just so you can, elevate, hover up and down here as needed. It's only for a short section here that the belts are really tall. Mostly, they're not. I just kind of ran the path of this, sort of just runs through the hub where I kind of had existing belts. I just cleaned up things and kind of took the same path through. a lot of stuff comes into my, high tier parts area, and a lot of stuff went into that electronics area way back at the beginning. And again, you can see an example of just pulling off stuff or pushing stuff on. It just works. It's not too bad. Underneath here is a little tacky. I could have just put more foundations on to cover up this. Probably should do that. And I didn't have quite as much room as I wanted here. It's hard to... all I could say is if you do something like that, make the foundations... Go figure out how high the foundations need to be. Go figure out the highest spot and make them tall enough. Because then you'll have room underneath if you like hiding everything underneath, which I do. That's it. That's the tour. Some people would call this ugly. It gets the job done, and it's a lot better than what I had. Thanks for watching.